Welcome to Selwyn Tech Topics. This is the second video of the iPad playlist. Today we're going to take a look at some common settings. To begin, I'm using an iPad mini with the latest operating system 13.5.1. From the home screen, we're going to begin by opening the Settings app. And we're going to take a look at some of the settings in here that we think are most common. Starting at the top, you have airplane mode, and it's an on and an off switch. How airplane mode works is that when it's turned on, it stops your device from searching and trying to connect with networks. You'll often hear this said pre-flight when they ask you to shut off all electronic devices. This is where you would go on your iPad to turn that on. So as a good reminder or hint to remember what you need to do, so on an airplane, turn airplane mode on and on. Below that is Wi-Fi. If you tap on Wi-Fi, then along the right are some different options. This is how you connect your iPad to Wi-Fi networks wherever you take your iPads, whatever networks are currently available in that area. What your iPad will do is automatically search for available networks, and then you have the ability to connect to them. You'll notice here the 3 networks this iPad has found. Oh, now 2. There's a little lock icon beside the Wi-Fi symbol. That's because those networks are password protected and require that password to connect. If you go somewhere that has an open network, such as the library, that lock symbol will not appear and no password is required to connect to that network. Back to the menu now on the left, we then have Bluetooth. This also starts as an on and off feature. So if you wanted to connect your device to some kind of Bluetooth device, probably most common would be a speaker, you would need to turn Bluetooth on, and it'll search for different devices that have a Bluetooth pairing capability, and you'll then go through the steps to connect. Most importantly though, I wanted to highlight that if you do not use Bluetooth, make sure that this setting is turned off. It is a really battery eating setting. So if you don't use Bluetooth and you can turn that off, you'll probably find your battery life lasts longer. Okay, back to the menu along the left. The next one I'm going to highlight is this screen time. This is relatively new. If you turn screen time on, you'll have it's telling you here what it's going to watch. Basically, it's your activity and you tap on continue. This is my iPad. And then it'll send you, you can see daily reports and overall weekly reports on how much time you're spending on your iPad and doing what. So they group it into different categories like social media, being creative, being productive. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but interesting in terms of an information standpoint. If you're ever wondering where did that afternoon go? What am I doing with my time? The screen time will tell you how you've spent your time on your iPad. Okay, back to the list on the left. Next is general. And probably most important in here along the right is the second one down, and that's your software update. This is where you'll either have those automatic updates turned on or off. On would be recommended so that your iPad will run updates automatically as long as certain criteria is met. If an update is available that has not run, it would list here with the option to start that update. Okay, back to the menu on the left. The next one we're going to look at is display and brightness. What I wanted to highlight in here is what's called auto lock. This is how long of a time period your iPad screen can be left untouched before it turns itself off and the screen locks. So you've got a few options here. You can see mine is set to 2 minutes. There are some longer options. This will be a personal preference and usually based on some of the activity you do on your iPad. So for example, if you read a lot on your iPad, you may want longer than 2 minutes. If it's a heavy book or you're not that fast of a reader, or you'll be reading for a bit and then taking a break and reading a bit, you may want to select a longer time period, and that means you could either be reading or not touch. You don't have to touch your screen. There doesn't have to be any screen activity for that length of time before it would turn itself off. Back to the menu on the left. A couple other settings here. I'm going to highlight wallpaper here just briefly, in that this is where we go to change the background of your iPad, and I'm doing a whole separate video just on this setting, so watch for a later video on that. The final one I want to highlight here, back to the menu on the left, is passwords and accounts. If you tap on that, this is where you will find all the accounts that you have logged in to on this iPad. So for example, if you use the Mail app and if you have more than one email address, it would show here if those are both logged in and you're using the Mail app for both of those. If you have an iCloud account that you're actively using, it would show here. There's also that autofill and website and app passwords. So some settings related to some of your accounts. So that's what's listed in this section. And then back to the menu on the left. Finally, below that are just a number of the apps you have on your iPad and settings related to those. We aren't going to get into them right now, but know that they are here and you are able to open them up at any time and see the settings attached to them. And there's usually quite a bit in here. So hopefully that's helped. We just wanted to highlight some of the most common settings, and that will help you navigate your iPad a little bit more easily. So happy learning and good luck.